Hello, I'm EG and this is Crocheting with EG, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my niece coming back over here for the first time in months, and her seeing the extent of the yarn room and how it's expanded to that wall, and how her tower is just expanded, and all the yarn that I gave her and her reaction to all that. And she's been crocheting, and I'll show little clips of like some of the stuff that she crocheted, and I'll just be talking about like the main part of this video is going to be me talking about her visit over here, and what her reaction was to, you know, the room and all my crochet and like all that kind of stuff. And so and all the funny little stories that happened during that. This is something that I bought, this metal that's going to be banging out, which I need to move. Now that I realize I need to move it because every time I touch the table it's going to make a noise. But so that's what the main part of the video is going to be about. My niece's visit over here. And then the rest of it just like some thrifty stuff or whatever. But anyway, so before, let me just move this. But before she came over here, I wanted to get as much yarn, you know, from all my mini yarn hauls put away as I could. And I didn't get to put all of it away. All the yarn that I didn't get put away on my yarn walls and in hers, I had to put upstairs so that, because I wanted to see, I wanted her to like walk in and see it all put away and all nice and neat or whatever. So there was some yarn that I didn't get to put away before she came over here. And what I did was that white table that I had shown in another video, it's like a shelf, that the two shelves like fit down on top of each other. I said that it kind of fits perfectly here in front of this chest of drawers, but I knew that I wouldn't leave it there because otherwise every time I set up a table in here to do a video, I'd have to move that because there's not, you know, I can touch both of the things in front of the walls here, like just, you know, doing this. That's how small this room is, and so there's not room here to have the table here without moving that shelf. And so like I had to push it in there in the kitchen just to, you know, set up this table to do this video. But I do like that shelf. The shelf was really nice, and so I thought maybe I can leave it there because it does sort of fit perfectly in front of this chest of drawers. And so I thought maybe you know, just for her visit over here, I can set it up there and then put some of my makes on it. And so I mean, it looked like really nice and displayed and stuff. And so I did do that, but it's not going to be there permanently because otherwise I'm going to have to move it every single time I do a video, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. So but anyway, so I did that, and so I got the room all nice and neat, and I put up the shelf there with my makes on it or whatever. And so she finally came over, and her reaction, like when she walked through here, she was just like this, like, you know, bug out. She just couldn't believe like how much yarn was in here. And then when I finally, you know, she brought her stuff in there, and we were talking to my brother and sister-in-law for a few minutes, and then she finally came back in here after they left, so she could really look at the room and see you know, like everything in it. And so she was looking at her tower, and she's like, she couldn't believe it. And I said, remember the last time you were over here, it was just like I pointed out like the section that was here the last time she was here. And then I said, like, all this is added, like all the crates and milk crates and stuff that I added. And then she was like, oh yeah, like she just, it blew her mind because like she couldn't believe that like all that was new or whatever. And so she loved looking at all the yarn, and she got to, you know, crochet a little bit with some of the yarn and stuff. But she was just like fascinated with the room and just like looking at every little detail. And one of the things that she really loved was that picture, the 3D picture of the kitties that's on the wall here. And she didn't realize it was 3D at first. She had to, like, you know, come to the side and I said, see, it's 3D, and she touched it or whatever because it's kind of textured the way it you know, the skeins or the balls of yarn kind of bubble out and stuff. And she just was fascinated with that. It is really cool how that poster is. And then when she was standing in front of her tower, that's where that rug is, you know, that Uber Luxe rug. That was a pain in the ass to make, but I mean, it is nice, and it was a nice use up for that Uber Luxe yarn. But I'm still not crazy about that Uber Luxe yarn. But at least I got a nice rug out of it. But she walked over, and like, as she was in front of her tower, she was standing on it. She said, "Oh, I forgot how soft this rug is," and like, she loves that rug. As you know, much of a pain it was to make it or whatever, and to like my hands hurt so much, you know, crocheting with that yarn and stuff, and it is looking a little. Not bad. It's just it looks like it's collecting dust, and like I'm afraid if I'm just exaggerating, but like, I'm afraid if I use a vacuum on it, it's gonna, you know, suck pieces out of it because the way that yarn was, you could kind of pull it apart. I mean, it's not gonna do that if I vacuum it or whatever, but it's just it's a little. I could just like shake it outside or whatever, or like on TV reference, like on Mama's Family when she was like that episode where she had the rug and she was frustrated with that woman at the, you know, church ladies league, and she was like, you know, banging it with and how people and all these old shows, you know, take the rugs outside and they hit it. I'm gonna have to do that with that rug or something because I'm too afraid to or like if I, you know, use the vacuum, because like that that cowl that I made out of that Uberlux, that black Uberlux, before I got all that at the big markdown. I mean, it looks like it looks like some like animal got to it or whatever, and I didn't even like wear it. And so I'm just afraid like what's going to happen to that rug if I take a vacuum and just like go over it and over it and over it. It's just going to start pilling, or it's just going to. I'm just afraid I'm going to screw that rug up. So I might just take it outside and just shake the dirt out, and it's never going to look perfect or whatever. But she does love that rug, and so I sort of feel bad that like. I mean the rug that I'm going to make her, because I got all that big thick yarn, and I was going to make her a rug. Of course it's going to feel really good, but it's not going to feel the same as that Uberlux rug. It is a really soft yarn. It's frustrating to work with. But I mean, if I make her a rug out of that really thick yarn, like that Yarn Bee, whatever it is, that I got from Hobby Lobby, it might actually feel like more squishy than the Uberlux does. But it's not going to be as like silky soft as that Uberlux was. But she's going to love the rug either way. And so when she said that about the rug, I said, well, I got a lot of extra thick yarn too, and I'm going to make you a rug, and I'll probably have enough to make you a rug for, that you can take home. So like one for her playroom, and then one that she can take home. But she was really excited about that. And then when she was looking at that shelf with all my makes on it, one of the things I put on that shelf was I was about to say that thing over there. I have it right here. Is that bookmark there? This is the one. This isn't the one that I made for my niece to give her teacher last year. This is like the one that I'm gonna sell, and I'm gonna make multiple copies of it. I haven't done the tassel for it yet, but she picked it up and she said, "Oh, I want to give some of these to my teachers this year." And then she was like naming a bunch of teachers and stuff. And what I'm assuming is she wants one of these for like her main teacher, and then like the librarian, and like the music teacher and the gym teacher. Or like she must want one for like every single one of her teachers or whatever. And so what I told her was like, well, I need to do a tutorial and put it on your iPad or whatever, so that you can do it. And she said, well, I don't know how to change color yet. And I said, well, I'll teach you in the tutorial or whatever. But and then I said, but if it gets to the point where you need the bookmarks or whatever, I can always do it for her. But I just feel like she would probably feel really good about herself if she could do this. And I mean, it's just like single crochet and stuff, and changing colors. And then the decrease, I'll have to teach her how to do that. But I think that she can do. She's still struggling with missing stitches on the end, because one of the things she did when she came over here, she pulled a skein off of her wall, and then she was just like crocheting, and she brought over a bunch of books that because she loves to read, and she brought over some books that she had gotten from the library at school, and then she said she wanted to make herself a bookmark. She didn't have time to make like a full bookmark, like this long, but she made one probably this long. And but I did notice that she was struggling to like keep it even, and I think she's missing the stitches on the end. I'm gonna have to, the next time she comes over and she's like crocheting and stuff, I'll have to like politely say, I think you're missing the ends. That's why it's kind of hard to get it straight. But she's crocheting like really nice. She just every once in a while she'll miss a stitch on the end, and so it doesn't look as even as it should. Or sometimes it's like coming in like she keeps missing the stitch. But she's still crocheting. And then she did bring over. She was making a scrunchie for Halloween, and she loves. I guess it's like when I taught her to crochet, what I was making was that my glow throw, and in that I was using two strands of yarn at the same time. And so when she learned how to crochet, like that's how she wanted to start. And so I think it was just to imitate me, because she saw me using two strands at once, and so she wanted to do the same thing. And so she's really fascinated with, and she loves like crocheting with two strands at the same time. And so that's like practically everything she does. She wants to use multiple strands of yarn, because that's how she saw me working on that blanket. And so she just thinks it's really cool that she knows how to crochet, and then she could do it with two strands. And so but she was using black and orange, and I'll put a little shot in. It wasn't finished yet. She just brought it over here to show me, and like her little skeins of yarn, and how she was working on it. And then she said that she went to like the craft fair or whatever, some local thing, kind of like farmer's market or craft fair or whatever, with one of her friends, and they had a crochet hook, and then on the end of it was this little thing like this little like rubber thing or whatever that goes on the end of the hook, or like a little handle, and it said crochet all day on it. It has a little skein of yarn or a little ball of yarn on it, and I did film a video that I'll put that in. But it was really cute, and that was what her crochet hook looked like. So she you know, was out. Most kids are like, when they go to craft fairs or farmers market fairs or like whatever, you know, they look around, oh, like, look at all these plushies and stuff. And what she was looking at, she got her a hook. I mean, I'm sure she, you know, looked at other stuff too, but like, you know, that just shows like how much she loves to crochet. That like what she gravitated towards was not the stuff that people made. It's the stuff that, you know, like, she wanted to get a hook for herself so that she could make stuff. And so it was just like really cool that she, you know, brought it over here to show us and stuff, and to show like her progress of her scrunchie, and then her, you know, really adorable little hook or whatever. And then when she brought her skein of yarn into the living room, it was really sweet. And I would show this, but I don't show her face or my mom's or whatever in these videos, because I'm the one that's putting myself out there on YouTube and stuff, and I don't want to put their faces out there when, you know, I'm the one that's putting myself out there. But I had this really adorable video, and like, because I walked into the living room, and my mom was sitting on the couch and like under the blankets because it was getting kind of chilly, and then next to her under the blanket was my niece, and she was like just in there crocheting and stuff. It was just like the most adorable image of like, you know, my mom and my niece, you know, cuddled up, you know, next to my mom, and her grandmother, and her crocheting and stuff. It was just like the sweetest thing. And then my mom showed her the bed jacket that I made, and she loved it, and she put it on, and she said, oh, it's just so soft and so warm or whatever. She loved that bed jacket, and I told her that I'll have to make her one too. Sometimes I'll complain about, God, I have so many projects, but like, I'm the one that throws the project ideas out there. I'm the one that has the ideas and stuff. You know, sometimes I think, oh, I have to make this for her, and then I did tell her I was going to make this, but like, it's not like she asked me. I mean, she's the kind of person that would ask me if she, you know, wanted something. But I'm the one that like puts all these ideas out there. Oh, I'll make you one of those, or I'm going to make you a rug, or I'm going to make you 2 rugs so you can take one home, and I'm going to make you this, and I'm going to make you that. And then I'm like, oh, I have to write all that down because I have like, you know, 13 things to make. But whatever. And so, but I did tell her that I'm going to make her a bed jacket. And I have that one that I already started with the ring spun that I got from Michael's. You know, I had started that pink one. And so what I'll do is I'll probably just finish that for her. Just make it where it's not as long as my mom, so that it'll fit on her. And I can. She loved those buttons on my mom's bed jacket. The ones that are, you know, she said, "Oh, look, they're so shiny and sparkly." And so I do have some extras of those. So I might use those on her bed jacket, because she really loved those buttons on my mom's. And so but I was glad that she loved the bed jacket. Oh, I did show her the cowl, and I don't know if I'll have to ask her again the next time she comes over here if she really likes this or not, because she's one of those kids where she's going through that phase where, you know how kids are like honest to a fault, and where, I mean, I'm not saying that it was mean. The thing she said is well, when she put it on, she said, why does it look like that? And so, like, you know, an honest kid's reaction. And so she's not at the age where, you know, you can politely say that you may not like it or whatever, or you just, you know, kind of like say you like it even if you don't. She's at that age, you know, like my mom and I are you know, older than her, and so like we sometimes repeat ourselves, you know, telling stories, you know how you do when you get older, and you start running out of stuff to say. No, and you start repeating yourself, and she's at the age where say, oh yeah, you already told me that. It's like when you get older, Mom and I will be talking to each other, and like we know that we've heard the story from each other, you know, 50 million times or whatever. But you know, we still like let each other, you know, tell the story or whatever. But like, you know, we would never say, "Oh yeah, you already told me that," like 20 times. But I mean, not that my niece would say that, but you know, she's like an honest kid. You know how kids are honest, and she'll say like, "Oh yeah, you already told me that." And it's like, so she had that kind of reaction with this, where I could tell that she thought it was pretty, but then when she put it on, she was like, just kind of like fascinated, because I flipped the camera around, and I showed her like in the viewfinder like what it looked like on her, and she said, why does it look like that? And so I don't know. I don't know if she really likes this or not. I don't really care. I mean, of course, this is ridiculous as hell. I mean, I wish this looked at like Naughty Autistic Granny's gorgeous cowls and stuff, but this was just like a fun project or whatever, just to like make one and say that I did it, and then I just sort of assumed that, oh, my niece is probably gonna want this, but she may not. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. It's just like some ridiculous cowl. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I don't know if she's really I doubt she's gonna like wear this, but like she put it on, and then I said, or she said that, and then I said, oh well, and I was like getting ready to take it off of her or whatever, and she said, oh no, and then she was like, had it around her face or whatever, and she was gonna walk around like this, and so she probably likes it, but at the same time she thinks it looks as ridiculous as it actually does look. So she was just like honest about the fact that it does look ridiculous. I said it in the video when I was showing this for the first time. It is utterly ridiculous, like me with it, but I don't know what I'll do with it, but I'll save it for her, and then when she comes back over here, whenever she does, I'll ask her if she wants this or not, and if not, then I'll sell it or give it away or whatever. Oh, and then when I was showing her the bed jacket, and I told her that I was going to make her one, I made this joke, and I said, yeah, I'll make you one, but I need to get some yarn though, because I don't think I have very much. And, and then she was just laughing, and she just thought it was hilarious. She obviously knew I was kidding or whatever, but I was just acting like I didn't have enough yarn in here. Like I make little jokes like that all the time. And she did say that somebody that she knows called her an old lady, and because she's crocheting and all that kind of stuff, as a joke. And so what I did was I said, well, then I guess your uncle's an old lady too, because I crochet all the time and stuff. It made her laugh so hard, and so if obviously she knew that whoever it was kidding or whatever, but at the same time, it kind of stuck with her and it made her feel like like calling her an old lady. I know it was just a joke from whoever said it, but still, it would just I thought I'll make a joke and stuff and like make her feel a little bit better about it. So like every time that person calls her an old lady as a joke, she'll think about me saying that joke to her. Thinking, I guess your uncle's an old lady too, I just love that she laughed so hard when I said that. It made her feel better about it. Let me see what else. Oh, and I gave her all the Wednesday stuff that I've been collecting over the past few months, and so she had fun. She said, oh, it's kind of like Christmas, because I mean it really was. Like I carried this big box in with all the Wednesday stuff in it, and she said she never did go up to Wendy's to get the meal or whatever. So it was kind of she thought it was really fascinating that she had the cup and she loved that spoon. I mean, the spoon was really cool in that Wednesday stuff. And then the poster, and she loved those little figurines. Like she loved the same way I did, even though like I've never even watched Wednesday. Although I've said in videos where it feels like I've seen it because I've heard her talk about it so much and describe every single scene. And now I know like she was telling me about season 2, and I know like every single thing. I try not to listen just in case I watch it in the future, but like it was hard not to. She was just like going on and on about like all the characters and stuff and all the big events that happened, and we thought this, and then this happened, and then she said this, and like all the, and so I know like all the details about season 2 now too. So I have season 1 in my head already. That's already been played through, and now I know what happens in season 2. But she took those little houses that like I showed in one of my videos, those ones that come with the little figurines, and there's the one with Wednesday and Enid, and then when you take the little figurines out, they kind of connect together, and it looks like the window in the back. And she was so like mind blown with that, like the same way I was, even though I've never seen Wednesday. She loved that, and she figured out that the little figurines have a little hole in one of their feet, and you can like stick it in there. There's a little peg in the bottom of those little house things, and you can stick the little figurine in there, and the little peg goes in the hole in their foot, and they'll like stay in there. You can like hold it like this, and they'll stay in there. So that was like really cool. But she just loved going through that whole thing, and we didn't like sit down and actually write down like all the Mad Libs thing. Like write the adjective and the noun, but I kind of described to her like what it was and how and I mentioned my sister and how like she introduced Mad Libs to it. And luckily my niece had never heard of Mad Libs, and so we got to be the ones to like introduce it to her. I like flipped to one of the pages and I said like okay, it says like say an adjective, like say if you use the word pretty, and then like I started to read the passage or whatever with the word pretty, and she started laughing, and so I said it's one of those things where you can like fill in a bunch of random words and then it'll make like some funny passage or whatever about Wednesday and stuff. And so she just thought it was really fun. And then she looked at the paper doll book, and you have to cut those paper dolls out, I think. So she didn't like actually play with the paper dolls, but she just had like a fun, like almost like a Christmas, going through all that Wednesday stuff, because we did get her a whole lot of Wednesday stuff. Oh, and she loved the squishy, the one that is on my wall here, right there, and that yarn keeps me saying she loved that squishy because she loves squishies. We gave her so many squishies when she was growing up, and we have this really funny picture of her where she's like she had so many squishies that she wanted wanted, it was like in this big container, and practically every single time she would come over here, she wanted me to like dump them on her, because there were so many that it was like she was buried in them, and sometimes she'd like, you know, poke her head out, and she was like in like underneath all of her squishies, and so she loves squishies, and so the fact that she has one that's a crochet, you know, she really loved that, and so she said that she's gonna put that. She has like a little, I don't know what it looks like, but she says she has like some of her crochet stuff kind of displayed in her room, and she's gonna put the hook there, the little hook keychain that I got from Hobby Lobby. Those things are really cool, those hook keychains. So she said that she's gonna put the hook keychain and then the little squishy or whatever in her little like crochet display in her room and stuff. But she loved that squishy so much. Like when she picked it up, she was like, "Oh my god!" Like she couldn't believe that like it was a squishy, and then it was like shaped like a skein of yarn of all things. Because you know most of those squishies are like, you know, little characters, little animals, or you know, little teddy bears, or you know, piles of poop, or like all that kind of stuff. But for her to see like one that is shaped like a skein of yarn, she thought it was so cool. And then she had never seen the Wednesday, or she had never seen the Enid cereal, like that box of Wednesday cereal that we had given her last year, that's on her or the boxes on her shelf with her collectibles or whatever. Like that, she had only seen that because we had given it to her when she was over here one day, and but she didn't even know that the cereal was back in the grocery store and that they had an Enid one. And like when she saw that Enid, she go, like she couldn't believe it, and so I thought. I couldn't believe that she didn't see it, and so I said, have you never gone to the grocery store with your mommy or daddy or whatever? Have you not? Did they not have it in your store or whatever? And she said, no, they don't have it in my store. And so she had never seen it before, and so that was really cool. I just assumed, because I've seen it so many times because I go in the grocery store all the time, I just assumed that she probably went in with my brother or sister-in-law at least once and saw it somewhere, but she had never seen it, and so I just thought it was really cool that she got to see that for the first time. It is really cool, and she does really like Enid. I mean, of course she loves Wednesday, but like when she saw the little figurine with Enid, she was like, like she loves Enid. So I don't know, maybe it's her pretty colorful hair or whatever, or she's always doing that, like, you know, thing that I forget what she called it. I should remember. You know, the way she talks about on Wednesday all the time. You know, the thing where she's like, she turns into an animal or whatever it is, and she does that thing with her hands, whatever that's called. God, I can't believe I don't remember it. But whatever. There's just a bunch of crap in this head, and so I just forgot. But she, you know, that thing that Enid does. But she loves Enid too. And then when she was in there crocheting her little bookmark, she just fastened it off, even though she didn't have time to like make the whole thing, because she was only over here for a couple hours, and there was like so much stuff going on. We were showing her this and showing her that, and here all this Wednesday stuff, and like all the it felt like it was, you know, only an hour, but she was over here for like 3 or 4 hours. But she just didn't have time to make a whole bookmark, but she fastened it off and she put it in her book or whatever. It was like, you know, like this small. It was really cute or whatever. But anyway, so when she was in there crocheting it under the blanket with my mom, I remember that I had made her that slap bracelet that matches her scrunchie, and so I brought that slap bracelet in there, and she loved that too. And the one that I made, I used the same yarn. It's like the speckled yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I made her a slap bracelet to go with her scrunchie or whatever. And so she really loved that too. And one of the funniest things that happened was she was in there in the living room with my mom, and I thought, okay, there was something I wanted to show her, and so I had to figure out like what skein of yarn it was, because I knew that in one of my hauls I had gotten a skein of yarn where if you move the label, like the speckle in it, or like where they sprayed the color or whatever on the skein as it was, you know, wrapped up, it looked like an M, like her initial, and it took me like 10 minutes looking for that skein of yarn just because I have so much yarn, but I finally found it, and she loved it. It was like that M in it, and then I thought I'll show her that yarn that because she loves unicorns, and I gotten that string yarn from that Lion brand, whatever, that string, and I said that it reminds me of like the colors of like the unicorn colors, like the stuff that you can get out in the store that is like unicorn color, like the purples and pinks and all that. So that thin string yarn, and so I gave it to my niece or whatever, and she loved it. She thought it was really cool, just how thin it was and how pretty it was. And then she was like kind of rubbing it on her face like this, and as it got near her nose, she said, "Oh, and it actually smells good." And I thought, like, God, I know exactly why it smells good. It's because of that damn cinnamon smell. And so, like, that's been over on that shelf for, you know, weeks. And but she said, "Oh, it actually smells good." And I told her the story, and I said, it's probably because that there's a cinnamon smell in that store, you know, the potpourri or whatever. And then, like, as I was saying it, she was like grinning or whatever, and like kind of looking like this, and, like she was about to say something, and like she knew that what I was saying or whatever, because as I got through, telling her about like there's a cinnamon smell, and sometimes it gets into the yarn, and I'll be like, walking by my wall, or I'll like smell cinnamon, and I'll think, oh, it's the yarn. And so, but she had this grin on her face, and I thought like, what? And then she said, one day my mom and I were in Hobby Lobby, and we were over there where the yarn was, and my mama said that you smell cinnamon, and then my niece said that she didn't really smell it or whatever, and then all of a sudden she did, and she said, oh yeah, I do smell it, and I just thought it was like the funniest thing that, like, I was telling her about this thing that I've talked about, and I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this, that where I've mentioned the cinnamon smell, you're probably thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. You keep complaining about the cinnamon smell. It can't be that bad, or it's not that bad in my store. Like even Shell from the Shelf Chronicle said that her store doesn't have like a cinnamon smell. I don't know, but it just feels like, I'm exaggerating, but I'm really not. I mean, for my niece and my sister-in-law to notice that smell too. I mean, they certainly don't go into Hobby Lobby as much as I do, but for them to notice it, and enough for my niece to remember that her mom noticed it when they were in Hobby Lobby, and then she noticed it too. But I told her that smell is, the reason why that skein smells so good is because of that cinnamon smell. And it felt really good to, like, I got confirmation from somebody else other than my mom that, like, there's somebody else out there in this town that recognize that there's a cinnamon smell in that store. Of course, cinnamon smells good, pumpkin spice smells good, but it's so strong in that store that, like, my sister-in-law was over there where the yarn was, and that stuff was on the other side of the store, where the yarn was, and she could smell it over there, and then my niece could smell it too when she finally noticed it. So it was just like hilarious. I couldn't believe that she was like had that yarn there, and she mentioned the smell. I thought, God, like, see what I'm saying? I mean, it does get into the yarn, and for it to still be in that yarn. I think that yarn was from that big haul that I got, that 209 skeins, and that was like 2 months ago maybe. It's for her to notice the smell in that yarn even months later. Like, that's how long it can linger in the yarn. But anyway, I mean, it's fine, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of ridiculous, and that's why I noticed it. It's because I'm a freaking ridiculous person. But anyway. But we just had like a really fun time seeing her for the first time, and like watching how mind blown she was from all the surprises, and like walking into this room, and she was just like her eyes just got so big, and it's a wonder they didn't pop out of her head. And I mean, even my brother and sister-in-law were talking about how nice the room looked and stuff, and like in one of my previous videos I was saying that, like, not that I feel like my niece would do this, but like sometimes I feel like I need to, when I put skeins on my wall, I almost want to make sure that the center pull is like behind or like in the back, because I'm afraid that, like, she's a little kid and she's gonna be tempted to like walk by and just like pull it. I mean, that's something that like in my head, it's something that like a little kid would do. But I still kind of wondered, like, what if my niece does that? Like, thinks it's a funny thing that like starts pulling the center pulls and stuff because the little strings hanging out. But in my head, I was thinking that's something that a kid would do. But as my my brother and sister-in-law were leaving, picking up my niece, my brother walked by. My brother, who's 30, he's my little brother, but he's 35 years old. He walked through here, and he, like, one of the skeins of ring spun, like that black ring spun over there with the white mixed in it. It had the center pull hanging out. He walked by, my younger brother, my little brother, who's 35 years old, walked by and pulled the center pole and like giggled as he was walking down the back porch. I thought, like, I was worried about my niece, like, being tempted to like pull the center pole out and think it was like this funny thing, and my freaking brother does it, and I just thought, like, I don't know, that's how that's the power of this room. I mean, to turn my he's my little brother, but he might as well be my big brother. Just big macho dude or whatever, always working on cars and stuff, and like and for him to like walk into this room, as ridiculous as it is, all the color and yarn and all this stuff all over the place, and to like turn into almost like a little kid to like walk by that and like pull the center pull out. I just thought it was like the funniest thing, because he loves this room too. My whole family loves this room, and yeah, it looks utterly ridiculous and stuff, and I know I have a lot of yarn in this room, but like it just brings so much happiness and enjoyment to my family, and I loved seeing that my little brother, my big macho brother, whatever, like just taking a little moment to like be a fun kid or whatever, and just like pull that out. Yeah. I mean, of course everybody's tempted to do that sometimes or whatever, but like I never pictured my brother doing it. Like, I never even pictured my sister-in-law doing it, or I pictured my niece doing it, but even she didn't do it, but like it was like pulling it out. I just thought it was like the funniest thing. I'll never forget that. We just had such a good time. And so when my niece left, she took her. She forgot her slap bracelet, but she did take her keychains with the hooks on them, and then she took her squishy to take home. And she also took one of these. They're these gnomes. We love gnomes in this house. If you could see just how many gnomes are in this house and other characters and things in this house, I mean, you would be shocked at how many little figurine things and all that kind of stuff are in this house. We have tons of gnomes, and these kind of gnomes. And there's I'll just like show her head at first, but there's this one. And but what's cool about this one, and she's multiple. There's multiples of these. So my niece took one home, and so she's holding like crochet or knitting, and she has like the little ball of yarn next to her, and I just love this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in this room. I need to. I hate to like put some of my ceramics underneath in some of the under shelves of this shelf, but it would be kind of nice to have some of these little like crochet things, like that box that I got in a previous haul with the kitties on it with the ball and like that kind of stuff, and like put the crochet stuff like among things that I've made in ceramics on the top of this shelf. So I'm going to keep this little gnome in here, and I just think it's a really adorable thing. But my niece took an extra one home, since she multiplied. You'll find out about that in the future. The magic in this house, but anyway, we just had just such a fun time with her, and seeing her reaction to this room and all that, and because we've been like waiting for her to come over here, and we just knew that her mom would just be blown, and she would just be overwhelmed with all the color and fun and yarn and stuff in this room. She's it made us feel really good that she is still crocheting and stuff, and enough to like proud of herself and enough to like bring it over here to show us and stuff, and then just the image of like her crocheting with my mom. It was just like, God, I just loved it. But anyway. Now onto all the other random stuff. The ribbon that I made my mom to represent metastatic breast cancer awareness. The woman my mom knows that is going through that metastatic breast cancer. She had seen on Facebook where I posted the thing that I made, but she had never seen it like my mom wearing it, and so she ran into my mom and she saw my mom wearing it and stuff, and she just loved it. And she was talking about how pretty it was and stuff, and I love that she got to see it in person and my mom wearing it for her, even though it was after Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day and stuff. But my mom is wearing it all the time just to honor her friend and stuff. But she just loved it, and she said he's the sweetest thing to make that for you. It's so pretty, and I just love it. I'll have to make her one sometime, but I'm glad that she got to see it in person. And then I'll show this thing that I had to move that was making noise, but I went into Hobby Lobby looking for yarn probably, and they had this thing. My mom has this friend that, or I talked about her in a previous video, who loves those highland cows, and they have a lot of highland cow stuff in Hobby Lobby. And I was looking in the not the remnants or whatever. I'd already looked and they didn't have any yarn or whatever it was, but it was one of those days where I didn't get any yarn. But I looked in the other clearance section in the back, and they had this sign. And it was it's made out of metal. It's really nice. And so I just can't really see it that well, but it's like the shape of a highland cow, and it's like one of those things that you hang on your door. And down here there were these wooden letters like this, and it said welcome, except that the E was gone, and or the O, or it doesn't matter. God, who gives a crap? God. Obsess about the tiniest details when you just want me to hurry up and get through the video, but whatever. And so I'm talking about that, like which letter it was, like it matters. But they had these letters like glued on here, and not very well, because like one of the letters was gone. That's why it was discounted. The regular price for this was $11.99, and which is a pretty good price for this, considering this is a nice metal thing for your door. But and the clearance price was $5.99, so it was only 50% off. What the hell? It wasn't 75% off. But anyway, but I wanted to get it for my mom to give her friend who loves Highland cows and stuff. And we may save this for her for Christmas. I don't know, because we've already given her like some Highland cow stuff already. So it might be like a nice Christmas gift. But when the letter was gone, I thought they have to have like another letter in here somewhere. And they did. There's an aisle where they have like a bunch of like wooden letters in different shapes and different sizes and stuff. They didn't match these letters at all. And so what I thought I could do is I knew they had like some other or some wooden words where like the whole word was written out. And so what I did was I got one of those, and because I thought I can pick the rest of the letters off. It was so easy that I did that at the front of the, like as I was going through the line at the register. I was literally like standing there just like picking the letters off, and they just like snapped off. Like they weren't on here very well. Like it's almost like they use like low temperature glue, hot glue or whatever. It's like if you use the high temperature, it adheres better. But I was just like, you know, picking them off at the register. I thought, what the hell? It was that easy. And so, but whatever. And so I thought I can, like, you know, decorate this better. And I got one that just says welcome like this. And this was $1.99, but they had other ones that, you know, said like, you know, welcome to our home, or like other versions. But I just thought like welcome is really simple, and the words were bigger in this, and so I could put that there as to say welcome. And what I'm going to put on either side is they had these were $2.49, and these are wooden. I guess you can paint these, but I think they look kind of nice just plain like this. But a highland cow thing, whatever this is called, just a wooden accent or like whatever the hell this is. But I thought I can put them on either side, so they'd be like welcome in the middle, and then have one of the highland cows on the right, and then I got another one to put on the left. And so that's just like some random thing, but I did get that from my mom to give to her friend, and it would make a nice Christmas gift. Just, you know, have it hanging on her door and stuff. And she sent us pictures of like the few Highland cow things that we've given her, and what it looks like in her house. It looks really nice, and so she does love Highland cow, so I did get that for her. And then while I was in Hobby Lobby, I did notice that they had some yarn in a cart. It was like maybe 4 or 5 skeins, and some of it looked like it was either the Soft Secret or the one that kind of looks like Soft Secret. That's the thicker yarn. It was either like it was one of those, and it was like this really vibrant pink color. It was really pretty, and there was a couple skeins. I think they were white or something, and. Then the next time, that was just like one day. I don't know which day it was because I go in there every day, so it all runs together. But one of the trips I saw those skeins, and it was like a couple. And then I saw those skeins the next time I went in there. They were on the cutting table, like where the fabric is. And so I thought that they're probably going to be discounted. But then the next time I went in there, they were gone. But I did miss out on those really pretty pink ones and stuff. So like when I said like, oh, I got all the yarn. There are plenty of times that I just don't talk about it. It's just so devastating. I'm kidding or whatever. So there's been plenty of times that I walk in there and I see yarn and I end up not getting it or whatever. I know I like say like I got all the yarn or whatever, but there are times that I don't get it. I just don't talk about it because it's so sad. But that was yarn that I missed out on, that, you know, at least that vibrant pink color. Because like even in the Soft Secret and that too, whatever that's called, like I don't have any vibrant pink in either of those, so I did miss out on that yarn. But that was just like a random thing. So I do see yarn in there, but I don't get all of it. I mean, I would have gotten all of it if it was discounted and stuff. It's not like I'm saying I don't get all of it. Like I'm saying, you know, I'm a good person because I don't get all of it. If it was discounted, I would have gotten all of it. So it's not like, you know, a reflection of, you know, me being a good person. I just missed out on it. But whatever. And the only other things are a couple things that I gotten at some thrift stores. I went into Goodwill, and I do love buying soundtrack CDs. Because of course I love soundtracks or whatever, because, you know, how many TV and movie references or whatever I have, and soundtracks are just like really unique in that they have songs that are like, you know, in a movie, and where they're all compiled together, and you don't have to buy like, you know, 18 different CDs just to get all the songs that were in like one of your favorite movies or whatever. And so I do love soundtracks. I do collect soundtrack CDs, and they had Boys on the Side. I love this movie. It's a really good movie if you've ever seen Boys on the Side. But it was just like a random thing that I found at Goodwill, but I do love soundtracks, and that's just one of the things that I collect. And then I went to the Restore, you know, that Habitat for Humanity Restore, and I didn't get any like shelves, or not that I needed any, but I didn't get any shelves or anything like that. But I did walk through there, and they had this paper on one of the pieces of furniture, and it said that like that day only, like the DVDs were like I think 4 for $1 or something. And they don't have that many DVDs in there, but I thought, you know, 4 for $1. And so I got like a whole bunch of DVDs, and I'm not gonna go through every single one of them, but I thought like 4 for $1. So I think you had to buy 4. Although when I counted them up, I was thinking I got like 4, 8, 12. Or no, this is like a double. Oh, okay. No, it's 4. This DVD is just really big. One of those like PBS. This is something about the brain. The brain fascinates me, and you'll find out why in the future. I mean, not because of like some medical thing. I'm talking about like some, you know, creative thing that I'm doing. You know, my writing project, one of my writing projects. But the brain does fascinate me a lot. But anyway, so they had that, and I got a couple of Danielle Steele movies. My mom loves Danielle Steele. She used to read her books all the time. She's more into Nicholas Sparks now. But she used to read Danielle Steele books all the time, and we have a whole bunch of Danielle Steele movies that we found them at a pawn shop. They look like they were former library copies of some of her movies, and we got like a big stack of them at the pawn shop one day for like $1 a piece. And so, but we do collect the Danielle Steele movies for my mom, and then a bunch of other random movies. I don't know. This one has those kids from Mary Poppins in it. I thought that was kind of weird. Like it's the brother and sister. Are these the same characters? I don't know. It's weird that like both of those are in the same movie because they're the ones from Mary Poppins. So that might be kind of cool. I don't know what this movie is, whether this movie is going to be good or not. But so those are the kids from Mary Poppins. So they're holy crap. And then like this one, whatever. I just thought I was afraid to like get 3 and then get up at the register, and it's like a deal where you have to get 4 to get the 4 for $1. So I wanted to like grab the DVDs and like multiples of 4. And so I did get a couple of these that may not be good, but I just thought, well, I would grab this one, and then I would look through and I think, oh, this one looks kind of good, but then it's like, oh, now I have 9, and so now I need to get like 3 more, and so I don't know, but I only spent like, what was it, $3-4, whatever it is, and so like superhero movie, I think I've seen that before, I don't know. One of those like made from the people that made Scary Movie, I think. Normal Life. I do love Ashley Judd, and so I did get that. This one has Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones in it. Looks good. Rules of Engagement. This one, I don't know. One of those I just grabbed. Pamela Anderson's in this, and I don't know if that's any good or not. Runaway Bride. I feel like I should have seen this, but I don't think I've ever seen this before. But it has Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, and so this was brand new. It's never even been opened. Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford, and my mom loves Harrison Ford. And then this is The Motorcycle Diaries. I do love movies that are like road trip movies. I do love those. I don't know if this is like an independent. Some of my favorite genres of movies that you wouldn't. I mean, of course, I love every kind of movie, but like some of my favorite genres that you wouldn't think that I would like is I love really independent movies that are like those road trip kind of movies where people take a road trip and they they're really like introspective or whatever and dealing with like their personal lives and stuff, and then they meet like interesting characters along the way. I love those kind of like independent writer director kind of road trip movies. This sort of feels like, I don't know if this is or not, it's probably like some big feature or whatever. It's not, it's probably not going to be some independent film, but it does look like a road trip movie, and I do love road trip movies. And this is the last one. I got this. It's another PBS thing. I feel like these are probably like hard to find. But this one is Pioneers of Television, and the reason why I got this is it's like a series of like different specials or whatever, and one of them has a part about I Love Lucy in it, and so this is going to be really interesting. Like one of the episodes is called Sitcoms. I guess it's like a 4-part series about like different kinds of television, and one of them is about sitcoms, and it mentions I Love Lucy among other sitcoms or whatever. So this is going to be really interesting. This is the main one. If I only would have gotten one, it would have been this one because of the whole I Love Lucy thing. This is going to go with my Lucy collection. I got those, and then usually when I go to the Restore, I go to Salvation Army, and I got a couple of random things in Salvation Army. This is something my mom wanted. It's this adorable picture frame. It has all these dogs on it. We have a lot of picture frames that are like this, or they're in boxes right now. We need to put pictures in them. Where we collected them over the years at Goodwill. When Goodwill used to have a ton of these kind of like 3D frames and stuff. They hardly ever have them anymore. But we have just like boxes of them and stuff. We want to like set up a shelf with all kinds of our pictures in these really cool frames. But this one has like dogs and it's really cool. And what's weird is the picture in this, it's not one that came with the frame. It's like it really bothers me because I cherish memories and pictures and home movies and all that kind of stuff so much that it really bothers me. Like when I see a picture frame in Goodwill or some thrift store, and there's a picture in it that is not like the one that came with the frame. It's like an actual picture of somebody's dog or somebody's family or something. It really bothers me when something like that ends up in a thrift store. And I've started to collect. I need to find these people, but I've started to collect, like, I love memories and stuff so much that I've started to collect other people's memories. I've come across like videotapes that are home movies. I've come across this album that had some pictures in it that were a bunch of family, and I've come across like sometimes if a camera has an SD card in it, I'll get the camera. Well, I don't need the camera, but I'll get it for the SD card just to see if there's any pictures on it. I'm starting to collect other people's memories, and I need to find these people and like get this stuff to these people. But that's not why we bought this frame. But when I looked at it, I was thinking, is that like the picture that came with it? But no, this is like somebody's dog. I mean, yeah, maybe they got rid of it, and because you know the dog died, and they just can't stand looking at it because it's so sad. Or maybe it accidentally ended up in my store or something. But I hate seeing this kind of stuff in stores because it just feels like this is somebody's memory. I found it on my cassette tape once where I need to like go through it like really detailed. I need to find my cassette player and digitize it. And I know I have one because I did it with my mom's cassette tapes that her and my dad sent to each other when he was in the Navy. But I know I have it somewhere. And I need to go through it. And there's an old woman that's being interviewed. And I think she said she's like almost 100 years old. And like the family's asking her questions about their family and stuff. She's giving like their family history. That's somebody's family's memories or whatever. And I need to find the people whose memories these are and get the stuff to them, because it's valuable. Like I cannot imagine that this stuff has ended up in these thrift stores on purpose. Or there was one time I did find a videotape that was somebody's wedding, and I didn't like contact these people, but I did find out on, I think it was like on Facebook or something a long time ago, that they were divorced. And so I was thinking like maybe that ended up there because you know they got divorced, and like who wants their old wedding tape when after they got divorced. But still there are there's like a bunch of family members in there. Like what if some of those family members died or whatever, and it's like we don't have any memories of great grandma. But then it's like, well, yeah, you do, because there's like this videotape. And so but that I kind of reluctantly I've sort of like been hesitant to like try to contact those people, because I'm thinking I know that they're divorced, and so I don't know like what they would think if like I said, oh, I have your wedding video, and they're gonna think, oh yeah, we divorced like 15 years ago or whatever. And so I don't know, but it's sort of valuable to me. So I do collect like other people's memories. I know it's weird as hell, but anyway. But that's just something I was thinking about when I noticed that this is an actual picture and not one that came with the frame. But we got this picture frame. This was $5, but this is heavy as hell. This could be a door stop. It's so heavy, or like a bookend or something. I mean, this is like heavy as hell. But that was at Salvation Army, and they did have this pride flag thing. I guess it looks like one of those. I haven't opened it yet. It's like brand new. It looks like one of those things that you would put out in your yard on the. It would get rained on and ruined. I would never do that. But one of those like metal spike things or metal frame things or whatever in your yard. But it has all these hearts with the pride colors, and then it just says love wins and happy pride or whatever. It's a really nice thing. It'll go over my pride collection. I have a lot of pride stuff. And then they had this is the final thing. I wanted to end on something crochet related, after all this random stuff. But they had 2 crochet books. One of them was a hardback and one was a paperback. But what was funny is the woman charged the hardback book as a hardback, which I think is $2 in there, and then the paperback she charges a magazine. She was like so distracted talking or whatever, she didn't realize that this was a paperback. And then I looked at the receipt later and I was thinking, oh, she charged me for a magazine. So the magazines in there are only 25 cents, and so like the paperbacks I think are $1, but she charged me 25 cents for this. And so the hardback book is called The Cool Girl's Guide to Crochet. So that was like a really cool like a thing to go with my crochet books and stuff. Really nice patterns and stuff in here. And then this one was really cool. Classic crocheted vests. And it's weird that it's like in this same haul, but the woman loves highland cows that my mom knows. She actually, when my mom was telling her that I crochet and stuff, I make all kinds of crocheted stuff, she actually said that she wanted to, she said, do you think you would ever be able to like make me a vest? And like one of those kind of like vests that you go over a shirt or whatever. Like one, like this, that goes over your clothes and stuff. And so it's weird that I found this, because I'm like, I haven't really made any wearables or I made a teddy bear sweater, and I'm gonna make my sweater the same kind of way. But like, I've never made like any wearables for other people, and I was sort of hesitant to even try, because like I'm afraid that I'm gonna get so involved in it, and like if she gave me the yarn, or like gave me the money to get the yarn, and I make her a wearable, and like what if it doesn't turn out right? What if it doesn't fit her body right, or like whatever? And so so I was sort of leery of like doing it, and so I wasn't really sure if I could. But now I have this book that has all these patterns in it, and so maybe it'll give me more confidence to like be able to say to my mom, you can tell her that I'll give her this book, and she can kind of go through it and see if there's a vest in here that, you know, it matches the one in her head that she wants, and I could try to make her one. And what I'll do is, like, since it'll be like the first wearable for somebody else, like an actual, like something that has to, you know, fit on your body, I'll have to, what I'll do is I'll just kind of like, I'll buy the yarn myself and make it, and then if it doesn't turn out right, then that woman won't be out any money. And because, like, I mean, I love to crochet and stuff. I make all kinds of, you know, crocheted stuff, but I'm not like some really skilled person at this point where I can, you could say, oh, can you make me a hoodie with like, you know, with long sleeves and like a hood on it and like this kind of thing and this neckline, and I wouldn't know how to do it because I'm not like that skilled yet. I don't know how to do this kind of stuff. And like I've said, you know, I'm not the type of person to follow a pattern. I'll follow patterns in the future and stuff, but like I'm somebody that likes to just mindlessly crochet, and so I don't want to have to keep stopping to, you know, just to check, to see what row, how this row goes, and all that kind of stuff. Me making my own sweater, it's not going to be that difficult. I'm just gonna, it's gonna be very boxy kind of thing. It's not going to be, you know, like a form-fitting thing. If she's a woman, so she's probably gonna want some like form-fitting thing. She's not gonna like wear a tent like I do. Like wear these oversized shirts and stuff. Like I don't really care if it, you know, fits my body or whatever. But one of the things that kind of got me out of it is she's starting to, you know, get healthier, and she's starting to lose some weight or whatever. And so it kind of got me out of making a vest for her, because, you know, she's in the process of, you know, getting healthier and losing weight and stuff. And so like if I, you know, started to make a vest now, by the time I got finished with it and you know, I thought it was, you know, done, then she may have like lost weight, and then it really wouldn't fit. It would be like too big or whatever. And so but I did get this, I would have gotten this anyway, but when I got this, I thought about her, because I was thinking, I know that she wants me to make a crocheted vest, or she wants a crocheted vest, and it would be nice if I could make her one sometime, but I don't know if I could. And so at least this will give me a little bit more confidence, and I can, like, I'll have something to give her, and so that she can say, oh, like the one on, you know, this page, this is the kind of thing that I was thinking about, and then maybe I can try to get her measurements or whatever, and then try to make it, and then hopefully it'll turn out or whatever. But I don't know. But at least I got, you know, this is a book. But anyway, so but this is only 25 cents. So anyway, so I guess that's going to be enough for this video. I know that here at the end, which is a bunch of like random stuff and thrift store finds and all that kind of stuff. But hope you enjoyed me talking about the, you know, the fun time we had with my niece over here and her experience, you know, walking into this room almost like for the first time, because it's like so much bigger than it was since the last time she was over here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. This one has like dogs, and it's really cool. And what's weird is this dog is like it's an actual picture of a dog. Duh.